There are so many details in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 that you're bound to have missed some. So in this video, we're going to be going over 25 incredible hidden details in Modern Warfare 2. We'll be doing these in campaign mission order, so if you've yet to finish it, there might be some spoilers ahead. Our first hidden details take us to the mission Tradecraft, where you're roaming the streets of Amsterdam. Now, this is probably one of the shortest missions in the whole game, but there are some very cool little details in this mission. The first being one of my absolute favorites, and it's the street performers. You've got someone on the drums, someone on the guitar, and someone on the piano, but if you don't recognize the song that they're playing, it's actually a slow cover of Billie Eilish's Bad Guy.
I'm outside the cafe, near the entrance.
And to me, this detail is just so cool because the band play this song over and over again. You've got people dancing and boogieing around to the music as well. And in the game's credits under music, it does credit this song. And if for whatever reason you still can't hear it, go into game yourself and have a little listen. That is not the only detail in this mission, because if we walk over to where Laswell's standing, there are a series of shops, one of them being a bike shop. And if we go in there and take a right, you can see they're selling some t-shirts, but one of these t-shirts is very unique, as it's a Verdansk FC t-shirt, which is a reference to the stadium in Verdansk in Modern Warfare 2019. Who doesn't love any reference to Verdansk, right? And another really cool detail is if you ignore going up to price and just have a little free roam past this area, you can see tons of people walking around, but you'll also find some people taking selfies with their phone. But the really cool detail is that if you walk up to them whilst they're taking the selfies, they suddenly stare at you quite menacingly, like as if they're embarrassed that you're watching them do this. And it's not just the one NPC that ends up doing this, but you can find a bunch of different looking NPCs all taking selfies, and again, every single one of them stare at you if you walk up too close to them. And to be honest, I don't blame them. And let's move on to the next mission, Borderline. Later on into the mission, you and Alejandro storm through a civilian house where you're trying to de-escalate the situation, because if you don't, they're going to grab their weapons and try and shoot you. In this scenario, if you don't de-escalate, the guy on the right will go for the shotgun that is mounted on the wall. However, if you de-escalate the situation properly by aiming between these two people continuously throughout this encounter, you'll see that Alejandro will walk up to the wall and take the shotgun instead, and pushing the two civilians off to the side. If you don't de-escalate the situation, Alejandro says to send medical civilians down, which is not the outcome that Alejandro originally wanted. It's really cool that a simple encounter like this has different options. Continuing on with the same mission for this next hidden detail, in this mission you're playing as Rodolfo, who naturally isn't quite as experienced as Vargas is. So when it comes to taking down enemies, he has a pretty unique takedown animation which no other player has. You won't be able to see this in any other mission. As you can see here, after the police encounter where you have some enemies firing at you, if you weaken them and then go for a takedown, you'll see this brutal animation where he kicks them in the nuts and then shoots them right in the forehead. It's a very different takedown to anything else you see in the game, and yeah, you can only see it in this mission. Moving over to the mission Recon by Fire, if you go guns blazing at the start instead of being stealthy like Captain Price wants you to be, Price compliments your shooting, references the first moment he met you at Piccadilly Circus, but continuing on this conversation starts a really long secret dialogue of how Price and Laswell met. Depending on who you ask out of the two, gets a slightly different story.
How did you and Laswell meet, Captain?
We met at a poker game in Tel Aviv.
Really?
No. It was there was a museum in Monte Carlo.
Sounds possible at least.
It does, doesn't
How
it?
did you and Captain Price meet, Laswell?
I like street food. John and I met at a falafel stand in Lebanon.
Seriously?
No. It was an airport bar in Lisbon.
For real now?
She's pulling your leg, Sergeant.
All right, you can both piss off. I don't even want to know now.
Suit yourself.
You're missing out, guys. It was actually quite pedestrian.
You met crossing the street?
Oh, it's funny that, Gotcha.
Okay, for real? We met in London at a soccer game.
It's football as well. It's football.
And that is exactly how I got to talk to me.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Not well. John does not like to be bothered watching soccer.
Football as well.
Works every time.
How'd the op go?
Not well. I dressed the guy in a gorilla suit to distract the target. It worked. Well, I slipped on the ice trying to roll him up, so Laswell nabbed him, put him away for life.
Target told the gorilla story at trial. No one believed him.
How'd the op go?
Perfectly. John put a cardboard cow in the road. Enemy vehicle stopped to see what it was. John pulled the target out, flew him directly to The Hague for trial.
Well, it wasn't as simple as that, was it, Laswell?
That's how I like to tell it, John. You can tell it your way.
Now, another incredible detail is when you go through the mission normally and you have some small talk between Price and Laswell, where Gaz asks Laswell what her favorite weapon is. She asks you what your favorite weapon is, and if you decide to choose sniper as your answer, Laswell, Price, or yourself respond to where the origins of the word sniper comes from, and this is 100% accurate to where the origins of the word come from.
Love me that volume of fire.
Fieldcraft. Know where the word sniper came from?
No, where?
From bird hunting. Bird called a snipe. Highly camouflaged from predators. If you could hit one, you were called a sniper.
Further on into the level, there is a car that you can find, and this detail probably shouldn't be in the game, so by the time you're watching, this might actually have been patched out, but if you look in the interior of this car, you can see a Volkswagen logo on the steering wheel. Someone at the studio did a whoopsie, but there you go. Coming over to the level El Sinombre, once you're masked up and sneaking around with Alejandro, if you're sneaky and quick enough, you can listen and witness some very interesting conversations and situations. We've got this one off to the side here, with 2 guards and a coyote. Someone who's been paid to secretly and illegally bring people across the border from the US into Latin America.
Cumplimos con nuestro trabajo. Cruzamos la frontera.
I'm headed upstairs out of the way. Cuidado, hermano.
Entraste a los
Guards
Yankees.
find you up there or in the
Eso no
garage.
está bien,
There's you
idiota.
outside.
What's in the garage?
No
Solo
idea,
trae
but it's
un
important to Diego. Find El
Déjalo
Sinombre and let's
ir.
get this done.
Y nos marcharemos.
Out here.
No nos volverás a ver. Olvídate de tu amigo. Él ya se fue. Tú te quedarás aquí hasta que él sin nombre decida qué hacer contigo. Hasta ese momento, no quiero escuchar otra palabra. ¿Entendido?
The real highlight one is when you go inside. Near a piano, a character called the Banker is having a conversation on the phone. When he realizes you're watching him, he calls you a pretty nasty thing.
Esta noche. ¿Por qué dices que es imposible? Te pagamos por servicios como este. Quiero que veas el nombre de esta cuenta. Ahora quiero que muevas el dinero. Esta noche. Esperaré 5 minutos. Después se encargará mi cliente. Speak English. Because I've got some curious asshole next to me. Now I want you to listen very fucking carefully. These people know where you live, where your children go to fucking school. Understand? Now you're gonna get the money and you're gonna deliver it personally. And the next time we talk, it better be face to face. Now get in your fucking car and drive.
The final conversation is between a mayor and a Mexican army officer. And again, once they notice that you're listening, they start speaking in English because they think that you're Spanish and you won't understand what they're saying.
¿Hablas inglés?
Yes.
Esta área está prohibida.
What are you suggesting?
El Sinombre will need an army to fight this war. Perhaps some good can be done. You're in need of recruits, yes?
Yes. And you're running for re-election.
That's right. I get you recruits, you get me votes. With the war hero supporting me,
bien, hombre.
I can't lose.
I'm not a war hero.
Not yet, but war is the great unifier. It galvanizes the people into action, especially when it's their blood being spilled.
You are truly a great politician, Mr. Salazar. I hate politicians.
Do you prefer the gringos or El Sinombre? Look around, Colonel. Snipers on the roof. People disappearing in the basement. It's not my boots on your throat.
And what do you get out of all this? One more term as mayor?
Me? I'm going to be president. Take some time, my friend. Think it over.
Further on in the level, there's a really cool hidden detail where if you sneak into the garage, you'll find a secret weapon stash full of secret weapons, including a crossbow if you want to go stealth, an AK-47 with gold camo, and the garage even has a gold wrapped car. And we're not done with this level because there's even more hidden details, but if you're enjoying the video so far, let me know in the comments below, drop a thumbs up and subscribe. But this next detail takes place in the room with Diago and his key card. If you open the cabinet in this room, you will find a secret pistol, which could be a preview of the first Mastercraft in Modern Warfare 2, as this thing is looking absolutely amazing. And it's silenced, so if you're still trying to go stealth, then this is another stealthy weapon for you. And within this same room is a desk that shows a overview map of Las Almas, and there's something about this which just looks like a battle royale map to me. Like, thinking logically about this, there are 3 main regions in the game: Al Mazrah, Las Almas, and then the rest of the world. Al Mazrah is our first Warzone 2 map, and if Las Almas is the second big region, then surely that will also be a Warzone map, and this looks like an overview of one to me. The last detail in this level is when we go into Diago's bedroom, and on a shelf you'll find a series of watches displayed, and most of these are from previous COD Battle Pass and store bundles, with one particular highlight being Snoop Dogg's watch from his bundle in Call of Duty Vanguard. Diago clearly has taste. Now let's jump over to the second half of the campaign, where if you haven't gotten this far, definitely spoiler territory. But in the cutscene before the mission alone, you witness the betrayal of Philip Graves, and if you have subtitles enabled, you will see that the color of Graves' name changes to red to show that he is now an enemy. Same goes for the cinematic just before Ghost Team, but during the conversation between Price and Shepard, Shepard's name also turns red during that conversation. Jumping into the campaign mission alone, there are quite a few cool hidden details. The very first one is that if you startle the dog and hide in the upstairs, you get one of the darkest jokes and probably one of the most infamous quotes from this game from Ghost.
You see the caged dog?
Big geezer. If he barks, shoot him and repo quickly. Don't get compromised.
You are stone cold, Simon.
Why has 2 legs and bleeds?
Don't tell me.
Half a dog.
I asked you not to tell me.
Another really cool detail in this mission is that you find a torch in this area. The crafting items only appear for you to pick up if you turn on your headlight. This is a really cool detail because it adds a real sense of risk and reward to the realism, because in reality, you wouldn't be able to pick up something that you can't see. Yeah, you can only pick up those items if your torch is shining on them. A little bit later on into the mission, you go through a house where in a window, you can see a really creepy shadow being cast on a wall, and if you go in and explore, you'll find a living room with a creepy wrestling ring with 2 wrestler figurines in it with a torch casting their eerie shadow. I don't know if these wrestlers are lore to Las Almas or if they are actually something in real life. If this is a reference that I'm just not getting here, please let me know in the comments below. Yeah, even Soap makes a comment about it because it's just so weird. Finally, right at the very end of the mission, when you're about to approach the church, if you go down an alleyway, you can find a shop that has a gigantic teddy bear in its window, which is a homage to all the hidden teddy bears that Infinity Ward have had in their Modern Warfare games over the years. I'm moving over to the mission Prison Break. At one portion, you have to control Ghost's actions through CCTV cameras. In one section, you have to deal with a guy on top of a caravan roof, as well as others patrolling around it. If you go ahead and go up to the roof and take down that enemy, there is an enemy below on the ground. Ghost will actually go against your orders, taking matters into his own hands.
Shoot him.
No, got something else in mind.
Fucking beautiful, sir.
Jumping over to the mission Ghost Team, there are quite a few cool little details. The very first one happens right after you get out of the underground tunnels. You as Gaz need to put in a key code to unlock the container door, and Alejandro tells you that it's 627, which is a reference to Captain Price's prisoner number in the original Modern Warfare 2. Slightly later on in this mission, you can find a loadout drop box and legendary orange supply crates from the original Warzone. Some might say a reused asset, I say a cool detail. During this moment as well, Alejandro teaches Gaz the origins of the word gringo, something which I'm sure many of you didn't actually know.
Gringo actually mean?
In the Mexican-American War, the Americans wore green coats.
When was this?
1847. Mexicans wanted them to leave. Gringo home. Gringo.
Never knew that.
Jumping over to the final mission countdown, if you flashbang Captain Price, there is a chance that he will reply with this.
How the muppet like you pass selection?
An absolute classic. Now for a second to last detail, all around the campaign missions, you're going to find teddy bears everywhere. We're not talking about the big one, we're talking about the small ones that all have that same star icon on them from the original Modern Warfare 2. Borderline has one, can be found on the ground floor where the civilian is about to hit you with a bat. The mission alone also has one on a shelf that you can see with your flashlight. It's bound to be a few more that I've not shown in this video, so again, if you find them, let me know. And last but not least, for our final detail, within quite a few of the missions, these houses that you're in have thermostats and all of the temperatures on them say 69. Now, who knows if that was intentional, but it's a funny detail, so I thought I'd include it. There we go. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, subscribe. For more Modern Warfare videos, click on the screen now.